I got a package in the mail. The camera was in the box and a bunch of tapes. Now this is not repair the camera. This is a scrap camera that's just been given to me to remove the tape that's jammed in it, and I'm doing a tape recovery. But the tapes themselves have mold on them, so we're gonna have to get the tape out. I'll show you how to fix the mold. The camera is in partially disassembled. The guy tried to take the tape out himself. We're gonna try to get the camera working properly on a future video, but here's the first part. I received a camera in the mail. This is a Hi8 Handycam. This one is a, what's the model of this one? It is a CDTR930, and it looks like it has no screws in it. I received it with the power adapter. There's no door on here, so that's an indication that someone's been into this unit. So I played the tape, and the camera actually is appearing to be working right now, but what I have noticed, and I think you guys might notice it too, watch the tape. Watch the tape down here. I think we have a moldy tape issue on this one. Watch the tape coming off the supply spool. This is just a guy playing his drum set. Okay. See the tape? The tape is that's mold. That's mold on the tape. You can see it sticking. Probably get a snap if I'm not careful here, but let's just remove this tape and we'll take a look at it. Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's tearing. It's tearing the tape. You can see it. Yeah, the tape is being ripped in half. That's mold. Let's open this tape up and see if we can save this tape. He sent me his camera with a bunch of tapes. I'm assuming that I may have a big mold issue on a bunch of tapes to recover here. I'll give the camera a good once over once I get these tapes fixed up. See if we can save this patient. As the owner doesn't want the camera back. Tapes are always a problem. Always good to have a working camera though for tape recovery. Now these tapes are getting older and have been stored for a number of years, just depending on how they're stored. Mold can grow on them. I got a bunch of mini DV tapes in today to transfer over. I'm just doing that right now in the house. And well, they aren't affected by mold. These ones at least haven't been. But what they are affected by is that the guy that recorded them, or the person that recorded them, it was a guy, he was in a band, but the person that recorded the tapes recorded them all in the LP speed, and the LP speed, of course, is there's no compatibility for playback. Okay, I got to try to find where this is. You can see it if you look at the top edge of the tape. It's been ripping right across the tape. It didn't tear it right down. It's just kind of ripping the tape right in two. So there'll be a section here where it's, I can try to pick off this back further wherever it is, where it's stuck. This is what happens with mold. It usually creates very long tears. It will usually go right from the top to the bottom, and the tape will be torn in two. But in this case, it was just tearing longitudinal, and it tore for like a good foot of tape. Started actually a little ways back, as you can see. But this is characteristic how mold affects them. There. Obviously, this section of tape material on is going to be lost, but it's not that much. So somewhere in here there'll be a section that I can grab as it was unraveling. Might be back a couple of turns. I'll wind this back on here. Maybe I can figure out where it was. Obviously, there's a section of tape that's going to be lost here for sure. But that's the problem with this one. It's I don't know so much a camcorder problem. It's just the tape itself has gone moldy. This would actually be a good camera to hang on to for archiving, just because it has the direct audio video outputs without having to use that stupid dongle plug that the later cameras used. You know the one. The AV cable that is proprietary to Sony, that all the later cameras had. It's nice to have separate plugs to plug into the capture card.
This is what mold does. It tears the tape right down the middle. Because we got to get it and give it a stretch so that it can be rewound. Okay, so I've gotten past where the mold is, and what we do is we have to stretch this tape, get it to actually turn, and tighten up on the tape hub, so that we can pull it back. And I'm gonna have to basically cut this and splice it from the point that it's damaged here, because this section here is obviously not going to be any good. So that section of tape is shot. Now the way we deal with this is we hold the reel and just put even tension on and just pull the tape, tighten it up. What that does is that makes the tape spin on the reel, and it will break the mold between the layers. Because what happens is the mold forms between the top and bottom layers of adjacent reel, or adjacent layers, and when it's playing, of course, it sticks. As soon as it sticks, the tape is so thin it just tears the tape. So we have to kind of carefully unwind the tape and stretch it as we do it, and then basically we have to re-spool the tape from one spool to the other slowly. Get the tape rewound that way. This could be a nightmare if all these tapes are like this.
Now, when stretching the tape slightly, you have to be careful to not pull too hard, because if you do, the binder will break and then the tape surface will start to come off. So it's a skill that is learned to do it right.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually spool the tape from one to the other and then back. This is what takes the time, because there will be another point where the tape is going to stick, like right here. It's sticking again, and I got to give it a stretch. So we'll back it up a bit to get it to come off the supply reel. This is the problem, is that the tape itself will stick. As you can see, it's sticking. As it's coming off this reel here, it's sticking. It does not want to release, because this is where the mold is. It's right there. And if I pull too hard to try to unravel it, it will tear. So we take it back a bit, have a couple turns back, just to pack the tape back a bit. I'm going to give it a little bit of an even tension to try to spin the tape around, to turn the tape tighter.
Needless to say, this is a one-pass tape. Once this tape has been recovered, garbage it goes. So you're not reusing a tape like this. Well, this is another reason why everybody needs to get their material that's on videotape transferred. And I'm guilty of it myself. I got tons of tapes of my kids when they were growing up over the past 25 years that I haven't transferred them all yet.
This is why places that demold tapes charge the kind of money that they do, because it is just very labor intensive to break that bond once it's there.
My own tapes, I'm not so worried about mold because everything here is kept environmentally controlled. The humidity is kept very low. I have air conditioning. So the humidity is always low and the tapes are always stored under optimum conditions. This generally happens for tapes that are not stored correctly, where there's moisture, high humidity, etc. When that perfect and dark environments, perfect environment for mold to form. Worst ones I saw was somebody who had been storing their precious tapes in a safe. Perfect conditions for mold. It's damp, it's dark, it's cold. Perfect conditions, and their tapes were just an absolute nightmare. I spent so many hours doing a few tapes. I think I charged them like $100 a tape to just to do this because it took so much time. Literally, I was having to stretch the tape every couple rotations. I mean, it was murder to get this one particular tape recovered. But we have to do this sometimes because people have got important memories and important events recorded, and they're prepared to pay to have it recovered. And for the amount of time it takes to do this, sometimes even at $100 a tape, it's not worth the hassle sometimes. I've had some tapes that have been in really, really bad shape. And I've had lots of people that say, no, it's not that valuable, just toss it.
So now you know what I'll be doing for the next couple days. Demolding tapes, my favorite pastime. Demolding 8mm tapes. Okay, that one looks like it's turning okay now. Flip it over and use my bit just to spin it a little faster. Oh, we got another place that's stuck here, you see.
And no, the little bit of dust that might get attached to the tape is in no way gonna really affect it much. You might get the odd dropout. Nothing compared to the dropouts that are caused by the mold that's on the tape anyway, so we get the odd little flick once in a while, disturbance of the picture. Not really a big deal when you look at the big picture for how much can be recovered versus the odd little glitch. Because tapes are going to develop dropouts regardless whether you get a speck of dust on them or whether it's some mold or something else, they're going to get dropouts anyway.
I don't know why it's just the metal tapes that are affected more than anything else. I don't seem to ever see this happen on the oxide tapes. Maybe it did. Maybe it's just because these tapes are so thin, but it was always these metal tapes. The metal particle tapes especially are the ones that I really have noticed this on. And it's not just one brand. This is a Fuji tape. I've seen it on Sony, I've seen it on Maxell. I've seen it on all the brands of metal particle tape. Like a lot of it had to do with the way they were stored. Gonna hold the tape up at a bit of an angle here just to help the tape off the spool pull it at an angle. You gotta do this so carefully because the tape will tear very, very easily, and it's just a matter of getting this tape spooled off. Probably will rewind back the other way okay because it's already been played through to this. But
I know there's a YouTuber out there that made a little machine that does this, made it out of some spools and a small little DC motor to slowly spool the tape. So he doesn't have to sit there and babysit it. But in reality, he still has to sit there and babysit it for when it does catch. It doesn't take that long to do this. It's just, it's labor intensive. So typically you could spend, you know, half an hour spooling a tape from one spool to another.
So the tape is coming off here okay now. Oh, did I speak too soon? No, it's okay. Okay, this tape's coming off okay now. It might be, I might have got past all the damaged section and it just tore in one place. Okay, I think I'm clear of the mold. There we go. Okay, so I've now spooled it all the way to this side. Now I could just spool it all the way back just to be safe, or I could put it on my rewinder. So I rewound about half the tape. I didn't see any more mold on the take-up side. It probably already played through, so we'll just rewind the tape back. But we can tell that this tape is going to be one that's going to be tough to play, considering that someone's put a label over it so that the lid won't open. Wonderful. Here's another tape. You can see the mold on here. So before I even try to transfer these tapes over, I'm going to have to go through them all. You can see more mold on this tape here. You can see it on the reel. Wonderful. That's just what I really wanted to deal with, moldy tapes. And I got a cassette in here too, out of this batch. Oh yeah, I have to repair the pressure pad on this one because it's non-existent. Well, that would explain why it doesn't play, right?
All right, thanks for watching. I'm going to do a service video on that camera. We'll catch you in the next one.